was like
You guys' church was like those church without the snakes.
Well, it was like, like Baptist church, you think Southern Baptist, you think real like singing and gospel and catching the power. Our church was like for up north and for a primarily white. Like we were the only. Oh, we had one other family.
What?
We had a Puerto Rican, Mr. Medina. You know Mr. Medina. Everyone else besides.
Yourself. People
I'm
know
saying a primarily white church.
She's half black,
No,
half
I'm
white.
saying primarily white church. Like usually don't get a rap for like catching power, but we were like a louder church, so we were like the power catchers of the north, power catchers. So, but yeah, and we'd be like when they singing, they'd be like getting into it, and people would be crying, and all that type of stuff.
Right.
And like,
yeah.
Praise the Lord, hallelujah during the services too, like amen, like ooh yes, like if.
Did you ever catch your power?
Not really, no. I never yelled. Like,
wait. Did you ever catch your power?
No, probably because it wasn't me.
Yeah.
Jesus wouldn't let me catch the power. He's like, she's gonna.
Your mother would catch your power.
I think occasionally my mom would. My dad definitely would.
No.
My dad was the power catcher. The black guy in the church has to be the loudest.
So all your oh gosh. He was the only black. Well, he wasn't the only black guy.
So Mr. Medina.
That's it.
That's it.
You guys and
everyone else was white.
Wow.
Which is fine.
No. Yeah, I'm just
for
asking.
The area. Yeah.
So any of your siblings now they go to church?
I don't think so. Definitely Julia and Dan don't. The youngest ones, they don't. Francesca and Natasha might occasionally, but what church they would go to, I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Because I know it's not the church we grew up in. So yeah, no, I'll visit from very time to time.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah.
Like, before we were together, I would go, like, oh, well, let's talk about why we left.
Okay, well, let's go to the news first.
Okay.
And then we're going to come back with why we left the church. We definitely had to tell you guys a little background. So the news with Empress K.
Good afternoon. Thanks for tuning in. This is Empress K. Last week, King I bet me that I could not do the reggae news in a minute. So here we go. Here is my reggae minute for January 11th. Some things I just can't make up. Do you know why Tom Hanks' son is being called Shabba Hanks? Well, you're going to have to see this to believe it. That's coming up. Coffee is still going strong in 2020. Of course, she's in the running for a Best Reggae Album Grammy. That's coming up January 26th. And she's been confirmed for Coachella and the St. Kitts Music Festival. And she's going to be in Miami Super Bowl weekend for Viewtopia. That's a 2-day multi-genre festival with Cardi B, Shansia, Jamari Morgan, and many others. I'm wrapping up my Reggae Minute with a taste of Shabba Hanks. More on his Instagram account. I would love to hear what you think. Is it appropriate or not?
Oh my God. Big up the whole island massive. It's your boy Chetana coming straight from the Golden Globes, you want saying?
Oh, it's done. It's done. It's done. Yeah, it's done. Oh
we
my
had a
gosh.
delay.
Yeah, we had a delay. We sorry about that, guys. Darling.
The news is done?
Yeah, the news is done.
Oh, I didn't
we was looking the wrong place.
Look
at all long. It's because it was done. It was done. So it's gonna come.
Shoot. Oh,
darling, what you think about that?
Not Shabba.
That
Tom Cruise son.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? It's funny too because I wasn't aware of him, but this Caribbean page I follow on Instagram, it's Know Your Caribbean, by Fiona Compton. She has her own too. I think she was talking about this person. I think he goes by White Chocolate, and it was like him dancing to dance on. People were like, oh, glorifying it. She's like, we've been doing this forever. Why is it when a white person does it, it's a big deal, but when a black person does it, it's like either seen as dirty or like, oh, whatever. It wasn't a big deal. And I was like, oh, this. I was like, this white chocolate thing, and then I think this is the guy because I seen him in person. But whenever I saw that, I was like, it personally it irks me. It was very irk-worthy.
Yeah.
What did you think?
Let me talk about that next time because we could talk about that for a very long time. Oh my gosh,
like that was culture appropriation, vulture-y.
So, Empress K did that in 1 minute. Everything in 1 minute. 1 minute. That was crazy. That was crazy. She did all that stuff in 1 minute. That is amazing, Empress K. That is real good. So, big up yourself, Empress K. So, why I left the church is because I grew out of it. I started searching different places for information, and I would come and try to talk to my grandmother, and she just didn't have answers. So I was like, how long you going to the church and you didn't have no answers? To tell me, hey, mom, what do you think about this and what do you think about that? Now don't question the Bible and you shouldn't question God. And I'm like, don't question the Bible. Don't question God. So when I started getting older, there was too much and more information that I could go on to support my mind than just going to church. You know what I'm saying, Deborah? Big up yourself. And that was one of the reasons why the church couldn't keep up with my mindset.
Yeah, no, I feel you. It's similar to me. Very similar to me. I was in church for a long time when I was,
Dwight, big up
my
yourself.
whole life pretty much. And then when I was like around,
you welcome, Empress K.
Like I was still in high school, I feel like probably like my junior, senior year, I started like looking into different things and like just learning different things. Not really looking. I was still a Christian, in my heart. I still was like doing that.
Huh, you was worldly, going to the worldly.
But yeah, I was just interested in hearing different things. I was like, oh, that's it. I just was open-minded. And then when I got out of high school and I was doing my own thing, I started to question things. I started to question things more and more and more and more. And like, oh, well, what about this film? Like, why? But if God said this, what? Just naturally. And I remember I was questioning a lot of things. And my pastor, he was a very informative. He was very well-rounded.
Who, your pastor?
Yeah.
Yeah, but said I always tune in when you guys are almost done. It's okay.
He was very he had a lot of knowledge, and so I asked him questions, like Bible questions a lot, like if I had questions. And I remember I'm like, oh, but what about this? What about this? This like different religion. What about this? And he's like, Monica, not everyone crosses their T's and dots their I's the same. If you want to go look for different things, like look for different things. I was like,
he said that.
Yes, and I remember I was like, I can do that? And I said those exact. I was like, I can do that? And he's like, yeah. He's like go forth type of thing. And I remember thinking, because like you just grow up with this thought, like if you're this religion, you have to be this religion. It's like you're in the group, you're in, it's like this is it. It's like this is your team, be a team player type of thing. So it's like I didn't realize I could, and then I started to, and then I slowly started to stop going to church. I would go like once a week or twice a week instead of 3 times, and then once, and then I'd go every other week, and then I stopped. I think the time I met you,
that is the time people maybe think, darling, when you met me, I know a lot of people think.
Before we were in a relationship together. Yeah, when I met you, I had stopped going to church already.
So, okay, but you don't think your family think I had something to do with you completely not going though?
They might think that, but if they stop and actually think about it, I would stop going to church before I even met you.
I'm not sure, Empress K.
Before I even met you, so I had stopped going to church, and I just started doing my own type of thing, and then I decided that I was a spiritual person and not a religious person, and I just, I found my own way.
Yeah.
What really works for me.
Yeah, me too.
And it was like it was just freeing.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, church is not for everyone.
Yeah.
And I don't think we should disrespect people who the church is for, because the church really help people.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Everybody's mindset is different.
Mm-hmm.
Not saying that we are more wiser than church people or church people is more wiser than us. No. Everybody have a path, right? And everybody, it would be good if everybody could follow their path in life. Mm. You know what I'm saying? Once you follow your path in life, you become your true self. You become your true higher being, which is you and not them. You know what I'm saying? So Karen said, I definitely can serve. It definitely, excuse me, it definitely can serve a purpose, especially at different times in people's life. Deborah said, I was in the church from a young girl. Father was a deacon. My mother was a Sunday school teacher. Children, church, Sunday school, chorus. You know, when the choir. The choir. I was involved with it all. Let me see the rest of the thing which she said.
It was something that you just did.
It was something that you just did.
You know, I was involved. I sang in the church choir. Me and my sisters, we would sing in front of church all the time. We were very involved. But you know, it's like I feel like some people should or want to stay in church for a long time. But some people, like I always say, like I'm like, some people are like, oh, you were brainwashed crazy, because like my family, people who know me or my other family members are like, you guys were so fanatical, which I get, but I'm like, I'll never diss it in the fact, I'm like, I never regret it, I'm never like, oh my God, I can't believe this and that, because I feel personally, it was like a stepping stone for me. It was like something I needed in my life to step to where I am now. Like, I used it to see different things and to me, because they're like, oh, it's like makes you so close-minded, but I'm like, to me, I was open. I felt more open-minded because I could see so many different perspectives of people, because if you're not in it at that level, you don't know that there are people out there who are like that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Do you think
I was in that mindset?
Do you think people there's people who want to come out the church but they feel guilty and scared?
Oh yeah. Oh, for sure.
And because they believe in that if you a worldly person, you'll go to hell.
Yeah, I wasn't a guilty, like when I left the church, I wasn't guilty. I was very like one with my choices and being.
Said I don't regret it.
Yeah, but it's like
either.
But I do feel like my siblings, I do see that they were like, oh, they really went back and forth with it because they were having the same feelings as me, except they had that guilt.
They had that guilt. You didn't have the guilt.
No.
That's real good. That's definitely really good. I didn't. I didn't feel no guilt because I read.
Well, you wasn't very involved either.
No, and I read about guilt, and I read about fear and all these stuff. You know what I'm saying? I read about the things that church people kind of. Church is for people in the church. When you in the church, it's created to keep you in there.
Yeah, community.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So and community do help keep people in the church too. What I see now is a lot of old people, and I see a lot of young people in very young people in church.
Once it's not a community that makes you drink the Kool-Aid. We don't like those kind of churches.
What?
What's his name? Drink the Kool-Aid and die? That was a...
What are you talking about?
What's that guy? He was like the cult leader, but it started off like a church and there's a community and everyone's like, oh, it's our community,
Waco?
We love it.
Not Waco.
Like
no,
that.
it's not the Waco one. It's some other one.
And then it was drink the Kool-Aid and die.
I think most people, you hear,
Manson.
They're very close to freezing. They're like 4 degrees over or something. I heard she said in Canada.
It is, what, 65 degrees?
Yeah, 65 degrees. That was definitely a cult. Yeah, Manson. Yeah, Manson, right.
Yeah.
What I was going to say? Oh, yeah, so definitely, churches, some people it's not for, and, you just have to find your way within yourself.
Yeah, and I'm happy I did when I was younger, because when I got out of the church, I was probably like 21. No, maybe 20. How old was I when I met you? I was 23 when I met you. So, yeah, I was probably 21 to 22 when I was 21. I was really starting to get out of the church, and 22 I was fully out of the church. And then the next year when I met you, it was like, I had already had like my established, being.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm happy I did when I was young, because I see. Like, I feel like when you stay in it for a certain amount of time, it's like once you're in type of thing.
The word church, Deborah said the word church can be considered like a cult if you're not careful on how you relate to it.
Yeah, wow. That's what I'm saying. Like, these people were calling this, it was like it started off as a church.
Yeah,
and then it just escalated, so.